My spring 2021 semester on campus here was definitely an interesting one. I had one class that was in person, which was really nice, and then my other three were all online. I lived in Loyola Hall on the second floor with one roommate. And I would say that it was pretty difficult to do my classes just in that one room. So as opposed to most juniors at that time, you would be in a room where there's the two rooms on either end and then a common room in the middle, which kind of provides a little bit of separation, but Loyola was one room altogether, just with everything in it. So I would literally wake up and go to my desk, which was right next to my bed, and then at the end of the day, I would go right back to my bed. So it was a little bit hard to make a separation between them. I'm a pretty talkative person, and it was really hard for me to be in the room with my roommate and get work done and separate that from talking with my roommate and socializing and doing other things. So to have my bed right next to my desk, it was really hard. I would actually find myself a lot doing work in my bed, which was not very productive. And I felt like it was just really tough to separate doing my actual schoolwork and focusing versus everything else that we had going on in the room, whether it was having the TV on, eating our food because we weren't allowed in the dining hall to eat, and just socializing, sleeping. There was just no separation whatsoever.
The COVID spring 2021 semester socially was a little bit tough. We did about the same thing every weekend and saw the same people. That's only because you could only see the people who were living in your dorm. You couldn't go into other people's dorms and they couldn't come into yours. And there was also a restriction on the number of people you could have in your dorm at one time, which was really tough. Luckily, all my friends, for the majority, lived in our building, which made it nice, but if you had a friend who lived in a different building, it was pretty hard. I feel like it was a hard semester because I feel like part of the college experience is being social and not only hanging out with your old friends, but making new friends. And that was something that you really couldn't do. Not only were classes online, so you weren't even making connections in class, but you were only hanging out with the same people you knew. And that really, I felt like, limited our social experience here at Holy Cross. Some of the things that I would do with friends is we'd go on walks a lot, which is really nice, or we'd go get coffee off campus. So with ultimately being locked in the dorm, you had to get creative on things to do on the weekends. So we'd do some yoga, we'd use like the Peloton workout classes, watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV, and then we'd also throw our own little parties. For my roommate's 21st birthday, it got really creative and I threw her a Hawaiian 21st birthday themed party, which was really fun and different.
Okay, so a lot actually changed with football, especially with our season. So we usually play in the fall, but because of COVID now and our season got canceled in the fall and we were playing in the spring. So there was a whole lot of restrictions, but honestly I was just happy that we were playing and I didn't get to actually miss a season. But it was definitely a crazy year football wise. We would be preparing for a team and then they would get COVID, and then we would have to prepare for another team, and then I think one week we had 3 potential games canceled and then we just ended up canceling the entire week, so we didn't actually play a game that week. Yeah, so practice was very different. We had to first go out to practice in different groups, and we couldn't all be at the locker room at the same time. So I think I was with a group of like 7 people, and there's 90 kids on our team. So we had a whole bunch of groups where we would period by period, people would enter and leave the locker room, which was pretty annoying having to wait. But having to wear a mask, and actually while we were playing, there's this type of mask that we put over our helmets, which was kind of crazy, considering we touch each other all so much during football, obviously, but I don't think it was much. It wasn't a lot of protection. football was kind of like the most important thing in my life at that point. So it was like you couldn't go out, you couldn't interact with anybody more than your roommates. So it was pretty crazy, you know, but it ended up being pretty cool because we got to win another Patriot League ring, which was awesome.
The dining hall experience definitely changed post-COVID. There wasn't any social aspect because everything was grab and go. And I think on top of that, the food options also changed. You couldn't grab any of your own food. You had to have everyone do it. So the portion sizes were different. There were different options. You couldn't sit in Kimball. I think all of this just contributed to an overall worse food situation. So because Kimball changed so much post-COVID, my roommates and I ordered a lot of takeout, probably 3 to 4 times a week. We felt like we became like Worcester food experts after COVID because we ordered out so much just because the options in Kimball were so limited. It was the same thing over and over again of things we didn't like, and we didn't have a kitchen, so it wasn't possible for us to cook our own food. So some of the places we ordered from were The Fix. We got hamburgers. We ordered sushi a lot from Fang and Nancy Chang's, and the place we probably order from the most is Dino's because my roommate owns it and it's the best Italian food in Worcester. So now in senior year, we have our own kitchen in our apartment, which is a lot better, so I'm able to cook my own food, so I don't actually go to Kimball as much, but I've heard that the experience has gotten better. You're able to sit down and grab your own food, and they're back to the way that they were pre-COVID.